5 days after Charlie Kirk was killed, on Monday, September 15th, a black young man was tragically found hanging from a tree at Delta State University down in Mississippi. Now, immediately, and I do mean immediately, much of the black community, prominent figures on the left, and everyone that you saw psychotically celebrating Charlie's death, they all simultaneously, immediately blamed this young man's tragic death on racism. They claimed that he was attacked by a violent mob of racist white people who lynched him, and they hung him from a tree at his college campus without anyone seeing anything. Well, very quickly it was determined that Trey Reed actually did this to himself. And once that news came out, of course, that wasn't enough for them. They started making up all of these rumors, all of this fake news that Trey Reed had broken bones and bruises. Even though the medical examiner and the coroner literally came out and said otherwise, they even came out and addressed all of the rumors and said, hey, none of that is true. Mind you, the medical examiner is a black man. But they claimed it was an evil white man that did the autopsy, and he's lying about the injuries that Trey had. But of course, that wasn't the case. And as these rumors and stuff continued to spread, and depending on who you are, you may have seen a lot about this or you didn't see anything about this. If you're someone that lives in an area with a lot of black people, or maybe you got a lot of black friends and followers on social media, trust me, this is all they've been talking about for about a week now. But even though all of the evidence was showing that Trey did this to himself, they doubled down and they said not only did a racist group of white people lynch Trey, they claimed that it was in retaliation to what happened to Charlie Kirk. Because much of the black community, not all, but the majority of them have been celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. So they thought, oh God, Charlie's fans, you know, the totally peaceful college kids that go and do debates on college campuses. Oh my God, those violent white kids, they're out here lynching people. Something that doesn't happen. If Trey Reed was killed by someone, statistically speaking, it was most likely another black man. But Trey actually did this to himself. But anyway, they started spreading these crazy conspiracies, telling people you can't travel alone anymore. These white people are so dangerous, right? All of this outlandish stuff, right? We all know it's not the white person that you're walking across the street to avoid. But they spread all of these theories, and finally the police chief had to come out, who is also a black man, and said, look, we know that he did this to himself. The autopsy results show that. Also, it's on video. We got video evidence that Trey did this. Mind you, every single person attached to this investigation is black. Give or take maybe one or two people. The police chief is black. The medical examiner is black. The school officials are black. And when they share this story on social media, they rely on the ignorance of people in other parts of the country. They're telling them this is deep in the South Mississippi where it's really racist. But they neglect to state the fact that this happened in a predominantly black area at a school where over 42% of the students are black, which is a lot for a college, right? That's a lot. For 13% of the population, but you make up 42% of the school population. So this is not like a college campus where Trey Reed is like the token black guy at all. But that's what they made it out to be. They made it out to be like, oh, Trey lives in this deep, dark, racist area, when in reality, he lives in an area with mostly black people, and most of the authority figures, the law enforcement officers, the teachers, the professors, the principals, the police chiefs, the coroners, the medical examiners, they're all black. And it's on video what Trey did, but still that was not enough. They wanted to use this young man's death not only to further demonize Charlie after he got killed, but they wanted to use his death to demonize white people, to further stir the racial division that we already have in this country. And no amount of evidence was enough to stop them. And they don't care about Trey Reed at all. In fact, maybe Trey would still be here if he felt like he had someone to talk to. But the reactions that I'm seeing, mainly coming from the black community, not all, but the majority, the reactions I'm seeing are disgusting. They don't take people ending themselves seriously. And it just so happens that I believe when it comes to the rates of people offing themselves, I believe young black men are like in the demographic of the highest rising, right? I think young black men, the rates amongst young black men ending themselves is rising higher than any other group of people in America. But they don't take this stuff seriously. And they're saying there's no way a black man did this to himself. There's no way a black man did this to himself. Because for some reason in their minds, they think that black people don't end themselves, which they do a lot. Like the numbers are shocking over the last few years. They are literally surging, skyrocketing. But no one wants to do any research. No one wants to have a conversation about mental health. No, they want to, oh my God, it's the big bad white, evil white people. I'm sorry, but do you see videos of white people hurting black people every day on your timeline? I don't. Every freaking day I see 50 news stories about it being the other way around. Do you think, I'm not even going to get into it. In fact, I have a clip. I'll let this woman say what needs to be said. Let's go ahead and roll this clip and then I'll be right back with more.
So y'all are upset that it wasn't a white mob that unalived that young man at the university, Delta University in Mississippi. Y'all are upset that it wasn't because the black police chief, university chief, came out and said that he saw the videos and it seems to be a suicide. Then you had the black coroner's office, which is black men, that also coincided his reports with the university police. And then you also have the black county sheriff as well. All of them are in on this investigation in a town that is predominantly black. But you're upset because you couldn't use this to continue your race hustling, your division, and grifting for gains and clicks and likes. I've never seen so much confusion for people that say that we live in a white supremacist society, but y'all have to look high and low, scour everywhere to find something to coincide with your narrative. Instead of asking these questions, sitting down with your sons and your daughters, maybe having quality time with your loved ones to discuss the mental problems that's going on with our youth today. Because obviously that young man was suffering from the inside. Now, of course, the family is going to get independent autopsies. They want independent investigations, as they should, because he wasn't the only one that was found from the tree. It was also a white man that was 100 miles around the same day that was also found. He was a homeless white man. But since that doesn't fit the narrative, nobody brought that up. So if I was the family, if that was my son or my daughter, I would want a full out investigation. But y'all jump to conclusions to automatically say, oh, it's white people that are doing this. They're now lynching black people. It's giving a bit of narcissist to me, because y'all cannot stand when the attention is not on y'all. An opportunity to tear up the streets and riot and blame white people and all of this kind of stuff. Because y'all thought it was going to be a different outlook when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. You thought that it was white people that was going to be out here tearing up the streets and all of this stuff and chasing down black people, and that didn't happen. So now you're trying to cook up some sort of a narrative to make that happen, and that's falling through. So I'm going to say rest in peace to Trey Reed and Cody, which was the white guy's name, the homeless guy's name, and I hope that they do a full investigation of everything. And it's always tough when a parent loses a child, especially in that type of a way, because the question of why will always continue to play in their mind, and they'll never be able to get that answer. So I really hope that y'all really can find comfort and peace in the Lord.
And she's 100% right about everything she said. These people are constantly complaining about racism and white supremacy, yet they have to literally make up their own fake hate crimes. And it's not like this is a one-off. This is not the first time this has happened. Every couple of months, there is a new fake hate crime. There is a new Jussie Smollett. I am tired of it. I am tired of seeing the people who constantly accuse everyone of being racist, constantly cry about racism. Meanwhile, they're the most racist, despicable people of all, and they even have to create their own fake racist stories to prove that racism is so real. You don't have to prove to me. You don't have to make fake hate crimes to prove to me that racism is real. I know racism is real because people like y'all exist that absolutely hate white people to the point that you'll create fake hate crimes in order to promote that hate and that division. It's so sickening. It literally, it's exhausting. And this is where the fatigue comes from. No one wants to deal with this. Look. If you saw the news about a young man hanging from a tree and you were skeptical, that's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Ask questions. I had questions too. I had questions about Trey Reed too, which was why I got really aggravated when I did 3 minutes of research and found out that every single thing everyone else was saying, especially all of these black content creators, all of it was a total lie that can be debunked within 45 seconds, a minute or two of research. Folks, if you were skeptical and had questions, that's okay. But after hearing the autopsy results and knowing that he's on video doing this, and knowing that it's literally an entire black team in charge of this, for you to still roll with those racist theories about, oh, this was a lynching, racist white people did this. You got to be mentally ill, disturbed. There's got to be something wrong with you. There really does. There's got to be something wrong with you at that point. But these people will stop at nothing. And it's really sad because these people already displayed that they have no value for human life and they were celebrating Charlie's death. And then after Charlie's death, they hijacked someone else's tragedy and tried to use this man's tragic situation where he felt like he had to end it all. They used his situation after death to attack Charlie and to spread more racial division like they've been doing. It's really sick when you think about it. They didn't value Trey Reed at all. They didn't care about what Trey Reed, they didn't care about what he was going through. They wanted to use him to promote their hate, to take attention off of Charlie, to take attention off of how evil and vile and disgusting they are. They wanted to use this man's death to do that. And now, after the truth is coming out, in a few days, you'll never hear about this guy again, unless they're still out there peddling the, oh, he was lynched stuff, because I'm sure there will be some people out there still doing that. There's no shame in their game. But I want to go ahead and hear from you guys down in the comments below. Let me know what you think of all this. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. If you would like to donate, you could donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.